Are we good?
I know she always remembers.
Yep.
All right. All right, for the pledge. Whoops, excuse me. It's just how.
Stick around.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yeah, looking for a motion. I guess I'll call the meeting to order. To approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it. This can agree, so here to make sure. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approve the minutes from May 12th.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
The first and second on the minutes. More discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. General public concerns. All righty, hearing none. Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry.
All
Oh,
right,
you're good.
You're good.
all right. Well, we'll move right into drainage because we have a little bit of stuff going on in drainage today.
Okay, I'll make that motion to go into drainage.
Second.
From the first. and
Sorry.
second.
Good.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are in drainage at 8:33. Did you have something you want public comment? Okay, good. I didn't know. Come just.
Come to the rest of us.
We're moving quick today. All right, all right. First thing on the docket, we have the Bruce Hefty crossing of P19. Bob and I went out and visited with Bruce Friday morning. And he wants to cross P19 with a 15-inch main. It's a private tile crossing. And he wants the taxpayers to pay for it. And according to our drainage code, which we have to follow. It states the process to do it. 468,600, it starts there. And the following through 468,622. Drainage connecting with a highway. States the proper procedures to follow. For the taxpayers to pay for this crossing. He insisted that we have to fill out the paperwork and do all the filings for him, and it states clearly in the code that he has to. We requested that he fill out the paperwork, give the auditor $1 to file it, and he says he's not gonna do it, he's just gonna sue us. So that was how the conversation went. I talked with our legal counsel and he suggested we send him a certified letter stating these codes. So he's.
So we just copy them codes you're
Yeah.
saying?
Make a copy of the codes and send it to him, requesting that he follows proper procedures. And we will have a hearing, because that's what the code says, because we are spending taxpayer dollars for a private individual's needs. Mike clear, John?
Yes, you are. And I talked to Rick this weekend. I'm happy to write a letter to him. Usually when I do something like this, I just have the sheriff's department serve him on. That way,
That would be fine, too, we just
Yeah.
maybe
we don't
we'll wanna
have to
make sure he
worry.
gets the letter.
We're not have to worry about what he signed.
Gotcha.
So
That makes sense.
we usually have a sheriff's department serve it. That way, I think pretty successful for us. They're pretty
Okay,
good to take care of this. So, yeah, obviously, anytime anybody's gonna do anything with drainage, we have to follow the Iowa code. And if you look at the drainage law in Iowa, I know there's been some cases in the last 10 years, but basically drainage law in Iowa has been settled since about 90. Not too many changes, only really the thing you can look at is railroads have been
Feisty.
more aggressive
Yeah.
in litigating this, but I don't know if we got any rule that's surprising on that. So yeah, you have to follow the drainage code. If he doesn't wanna fill out the application and pay the dollar, then obviously my advice would be you can't approve this, you can't approve public fund for this under any circumstances. You gotta follow those, and I don't think they're that difficult to follow.
No, it's pretty simple. Any Tyler who is in the business has all this information if he's gonna do the job. He just needs to take it from his guy who's gonna do his job, take it into the office, give him $1, and then we can set a hearing date.
It's not like.
It's not rocket science.
So,
Well, he also visited with Ben previous, or before that, right?
This has been ongoing for
Right.
ish.
Probably. So. Bob was with me when we visited with him and that's,
You read right from the book, like it says,
Yeah.
and he just was very belligerent and would not. It was ridiculous the way he acted.
so this was our alternative, just to make sure he's aware of the code, because. He says he's gonna do what he's gonna do, and then he's gonna. Take us to court to get it across, and I thought. So. Hey. So
Dollar would be cheaper than.
this
taking-
is gonna be an action item for us to proceed this way. So it's in the minutes. I want it documented what time and what day we did this. So that everything is clear as. Balance say,
So I'll make that motion to send that letter via the sheriff's department.
yes,
I'll
Or
second
Bruce
this.
Hefty.
we have a first and a second. Any more discussion on this matter?
really quick,
Oh.
I'll write the letter. I'll email it to the five of you, and then if you have suggestions, respond only to me, not everybody, and then. If we need to make any changes, I'll make changes and send it out again.
Okay,
Okay,
As long as we have the copy of the way it reads in our drainage
we'll do that. We'll
law or drainage
we'll print
book.
out all the statutes.
Yes.
And make sure.
That way he can read it and have a copy of it.
he
and-
claims he has an attorney already. He can take it to his attorney and if
That's
there's an
fine.
argument, you
Yeah.
two attorneys can argue it out.
Fair enough,
Yeah.
and I'll make sure that. we print it out there.
And that'd probably be my suggestion
They're
at
not
the end of the
6
letter.
point.
P.S. Take it to your
Yeah,
attorney.
there you go. Good idea.
So,
Okay.
Sorry, I'll stop discussing that.
No, you're good.
You're
You're
good.
good. You're good. It's all good information.
all right, we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
I wish our print was quicker also.
Now you're done too fast.
Oh, yeah, I got about 5 minutes. Okay, is there anything else going out there on drainage? I think.
Dave, did you have anything?
No, it's just that proposal and cleaning out,
Okay, that's coming up.
yeah, at 9 o'clock or what.
Yeah,
I went down to Corneth last Monday and that's still open. Doug said they're still working on some of the other issues they have for.
oh,
So he hasn't got out there, but they're still considering that box.
Okay.
The one up east of Rutland, he got, I think it's filled back in and repaired the way it was. So
looks like he was out, people were out there farming too,
Yeah.
so I drove by there.
I have to visit a couple of mine just to make sure they're blessed and move on with them, but I think they're all done.
Okay, I did have a conversation, Doug Strike from our drainage attorney after visiting with. Mr. Hefty, and he suggested we proceed this way. And also I asked him about taking control of the private. Tile outlets. And he, excuse me, he suggested, if we go that route. We could have the repairs done. On a timely matter and have the drainage district pay for it. But then you have to go back to the landowners to recoup the money. He says the drainage district cannot pay for the private outlets. But he said it would speed things up for you if you had the drainage district pay for the repairs and then get reimbursed from the landowner.
So would you just then do the assessment on the landowner then, on their property tax then?
That's the difficult part, because you can't, because you don't know where all the private tiles run. That's, I
So you don't
explained
know
that,
who's,
well, you know whose the outlet is. Cause it comes through their
You know
land.
where the outlet is, but you don't know who.
You don't know who-
that's what I mean,
Who's attached to it?
that's what I mean, so you don't know who's all on it.
How do you assess two people you don't know the benefit?
Or 3 or 4.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And then, and some of those parcels might have 5, 6 owners. It gets to be extremely cumbersome.
Yep.
And I asked him, why can't the drainage district pay for it? He says it can't.
Hmm.
So he told me, I don't know why they can't, but he says. You can't take the district funds to benefit a private individual, very similar to.
Which kind of makes sense because the whole district isn't getting benefits.
No, it's just that private tile,
Right,
but
but then who knows who's all, would the landowner know who's all hooked onto it?
Not necessarily.
no,
If it was put
You
in.
have to mile up the,
Who's,
Oh,
And
and
you
it's
bought-
changed hands.
changed hands probably 2 times, maybe 3,
Yeah,
you know, it's just a. It's a difficult problem. The only thing you can do is assess it to the landowners who is up against the ditch and say, it's your problem to collect from.
yeah.
And that's maybe what we have to do. Fun, right? Then you have a lot of people come in mad at you.
well, you have a farmer there sitting asking what is.
What's your thoughts? Yeah,
On what?
private, when you're like your private tile dumps into the drainage ditch. And it's broke, it's boiling out to the bank, washing the bank away.
It's a private, little guy, don't stand in their way, let them fix it.
But if they don't,
That's their problem.
well,
Yeah, but it erodes our ditch.
It ruins the ditch.
it fills the ditch in with the erosion that's going to pump in there and
Yeah.
it's probably not going to be a.
that's the problem. You go out and look at them. And there's, they need to be fixed and you know, fix.
If the landowner's that stupid, I don't know what you do. I just don't.
There you go.
I think we just
You can
fix it, we
see.
assess it on that land.
I'm trying to think in the code in here, there's
Then
an
they
area.
can go after everybody.
Oh,
But if it's his private thing and it's coming in ours and we have to fix it. And he won't, and our ditches are eroding, why can't we just fix it? Then
Well, we
assess the
can't.
landowner.
You have to send there's a spot in the code here for a claim or damages. Where you send the landowner a notice, he has 3 days to respond. And if he doesn't, you can go in and do the repairs and bill the landowner.
Right,
It's in the.
so that's how we got it, we just gotta do it that way and then.
That's why we're probably gonna
And
have to
then the
handle.
private landowner can go after them, if he thinks somebody else is hooked on it, then he'll have to go after them and have them
Yeah,
divvy their portion.
I agree with that.
that's
So
the way the
we gotta
code
have good
reads.
ditches,
So that's probably the route we'll have to take.
Yeah.
Notify the landowner, give him 3 days to respond, whether he's gonna fix it or not. And if he says no, we fix it and assess it to their
yeah,
taxes.
Yep.
Or
Yep.
drainage assessment,
I think that's what we're just gonna have to start doing that.
yeah. Kind of a pain in the butt, but
There's a reason
Do a
that
motion.
old sign says you can't. fix
Do we have a
stupid.
motion on that?
It's just as valid. What's the thing?
all right, well, it's 9:45,
Okay,
so
And then
we got Carter Nath. List, Carter, is your group together?
Kyle.
Good morning. Yeah, well, I think we've got 3 here.
Perfect. Okay, being as we're the lead, I'm gonna call this joint meeting with, Cassuth on, Drainage District 4. The, agenda, I don't know if you have it in front of you, has to do with a tree roots, blocking an 8-inch main in the southern part of the community of Laverne.
Participation from Carter.
Kyle.
And
Hello, everybody.
Josh is.
Kyle, who's your other participant?
We have Josh Wachter, And then I don't
Okay.
know his guest, is that Howard?
We got Kyle and Carter and Josh, that's three. So we got three of you.
Who is the guest?
That's his guest, is that Howard? Howard, if you want to turn
Yes,
your mic on.
can you acknowledge who you are, guest? Okay, good to see
Yes,
you.
they
Yes,
need to
now.
know, so we,
Just wanna listen on. Huh?
Okay. So I'll call this meeting to order. We have Bruce Reimer, Sandy, Bob, and Mike and myself here, so we have a full board. Sounds like you have a quorum. Do you need any more information on those repairs? Carter?
How, or what is the length that's needing to be repaired there? Do you know?
Well, we really don't know until we dig it up. It's full of tree roots, probably in two locations. Where it goes through what I would call a tree filled fence line, two different spots. And it's holding back water. And I'm not for sure, but they told us, I don't know how many years ago, they had it water jetted. Because it was full of tree roots then. I used, he said maybe 5 years ago.
8-inch.
It's an 8-inch main. So our suggestion was to just go in and lay non-perforated plastic 8-inch and just, lay it parallel to that old one and just scrap that one out and lay non-perforated 8 so we don't have this problem for approximately 100 feet or so when we go through the tree line. What
Yeah.
are your thoughts?
No, I mean, it gets pretty wet back in there. Yeah,
Well, as dry as it's been, someone just about got stuck back in there with the pickup.
mhm.
When we were up there, they'd sunk in about 6 inches. And then, it's been extremely dry, so and the people in town were having to run their sump pumps because their basement drains weren't taking the water. So, I believe we have, McPete's on the work order to do the repair.
Mhm.
They're local in town there. I think they'd be the best option.
I agree.
So we'd need a motion from each member of the board, a first and a second from the two different boards to approve this work order.
All
I'll make
motion.
a motion, this is Bruce with Humboldt. To appoint McPeak to do the work order.
I'll second it.
No,
Yeah.
the other one. That's okay, you're good, you're learning.
I'll second it from Kasuth.
Okay, who's that, Carter?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Hey,
All eyes here. You have
And it
all
does
eyes
look
up
like
there?
Howard Haas is on now too for your guys' minutes there.
All right.
We had technical difficulties.
Okay. All right, well.
Are you guys all eyes, Kyle?
Yes.
Carter's the chair, but yeah, it sounds like it.
Alright.
I didn't hear any no.
I didn't. hear it.
Okay. Sounds like the repair has been approved. So that is taken care of. I guess you're taking minutes, aren't you? You're taking minutes. You are?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
All right. The next item on the agenda menu. Next item on the agenda is a memorandum of understanding on joint districts. It's come to our attention that you cannot spend any money without the approval of the other district. I mean, that's any money, $5, $10, but it's ridiculous to have meetings for small items. I think we have 15,000 with Wright. Currently, we have 5,000 with Webster. I'd like to have a $15,000 MOU with Kasuth. What are your thoughts up there?
Can you elaborate on why we're required to do this now? Cause I guess I wasn't aware of any changes in the code that required it and, I guess we don't have anything with any of our neighbors. We just follow the stuff that's in the law for requirement for public hearings and all that. So when we had talked about this previously, we didn't think we needed to do anything because it would add another layer to what we're already doing.
Well, it comes to the fact that when you have a joint district, what you do in your district or your county has to be paid by your taxpayers and they're not getting representation. That's why you do these, have to do these joint meetings, because they were getting billed and they didn't know why. We were informed by Doug Strike that this needed to be changed. So that's why we're doing it. You see
Okay.
where I'm coming from there?
Kind of, and I had heard that John Torbert with IDDA said we were needing to do this, so I called him and he said he wasn't aware of anything there, so I don't know if him and Doug hadn't talked enough or if it wasn't just on his radar.
John was at the meeting when we talked with Doug about it. I think he just
Forgot maybe.
forgot maybe, or wasn't, may have had his mind on something else.
Okay.
So
I guess personally, I don't have a huge opposition to it, but are you looking for like anything under that dollar amount we wouldn't have to do joint meetings for, or
that's
what's
correct. Anything over 15,000, you'd have to have a joint meeting before you spend, before you approve the project.
okay?
And
I guess personally, the way I've always kind of looked at repairs, I mean, we have the code requirements for public hearings and now we have a higher repair dollar threshold with it being tied to the competitive bid threshold with the DOT. But I guess one of the ways I've always kind of looked at it is in relation to the size of the districts too, because if you spend 10,000 in a district that has 40,000 acres versus a district that has 1,500 acres, the impact to the landowners is significantly different. But putting that into policy gets kind of complicated too. So, I don't know. You guys got any, are you just looking, I guess, have you guys talked about it and you're just after 15 as a blanket and go from there, or what are your guys' thoughts?
all right, is that to us or the rest of your board?
That's to you guys in Humboldt.
Oh,
that
the
was my
thing is,
guys.
if you go out and repair a county outlet, just, put a new pipe in. You gotta have a meeting for every stinking thing you do. If you're gonna spray weeds, you gotta have a joint meeting.
Beaver dam.
Removing a beaver dam, you gotta have a joint meeting. That's why we need to come up with a dollar figure. And I thought the 15,000 would take care of a lot of the smaller items. You're not gonna do a ditch clean for more than very far for $15,000. Those are just your minor repairs, honestly, anymore. That's why we picked that number, mainly because Wright County, that's what they had with, I can't remember which county other they were tied to, and that's the number they used. They approached us with that. And we said that was fine. I just thought it'd be nice if it was all uniformed all the way around.
Yeah, and I guess in that regard, I don't think we've ever done joint meetings for small repairs of that nature either. So
And that's what I was told was illegal. What we were doing wasn't following
Code.
So was there some lawsuit that was challenging something, or
I don't know where it comes
it's
from.
more of a
Tom.
best practice?
I don't
then?
know.
Huh. Okay.
I don't know what brought this to our attention. But we are told you need to start doing that. So
I guess if we did look at something like that, it probably wouldn't really change our practices, we would just have it formalized in writing, so that's
Yes.
maybe
Yeah.
not the
I
end
mean,
of
we
the,
still share work orders back and forth. And
yeah,
I'm sure your clerk would say, geez, we've got a work order here, if it's really gonna be high, she'll bring it to your attention. So. I don't know.
We're gonna let you know any joint district we have that has an issue from down here.
Yeah, the notifications will still go back and forth, whether it's a $5 work order or it's a $14,000. You still get.
yeah, well, that's where I didn't see the need for it necessarily before, but I guess.
It's more of a legality reason, is the reason we're doing it. Cause
Okay.
otherwise they claim we're supposed to have a joint meeting for every dollar you spend.
Do you have a template or something that was prepared by IDDA legal?
No, I have one from Wright County. I'm not sure if it's from IDD or not. I can check, but I do have one from Wright County, Webster County. We did.
Did you hear that?
Yep, I did hear that.
Okay.
I'd be interested in looking at those, I guess. I would obviously want to look at something before approving it, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not opposed to the concept there, I guess. Anyone else in Cassuth have any thoughts?
This is Howard, Kyle. I guess, right out of the board, 15 sounds like a lot to me, but I'm new, so I don't know, if that's what they're doing with other counties. I heard 5 for Webster and 15 for Wright. I guess we can talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, we could always talk about the dollar threshold, I guess. As you get a few more months under your belt here and see more claims, you'll realize that 5 to 15, there's not a ton of projects that land in that. And I know a couple of the ones on Humboldt had already touched on that, but yeah, 15, I mean, 15 wouldn't scare me, but I guess we can definitely have that conversation too on dollar figures.
Cause we're gonna have a joint meeting. Currently, I've been discussing this with Webster County. We're set at 5,000. We're gonna have a joint meeting to spray some weeds because it's over 5,000. I mean, I think it's ridiculous to have these joint meetings, is if we can't trust our other fellow supervisors in the next county to handle things properly for these small deals, I think it's ridiculous.
Plus, they're on a different day.
Yeah, and we're always on different days.
Yeah.
So either we have to come in on the day that you guys meet, or you guys have to come in on the day we meet.
Well, why don't you guys just change your schedule to match us?
Kyle, anybody but you, I would have been surprised to say that.
Exactly. I knew you guys would take
I
it
know, I can see you smiling through our phone here.
well. Yeah.
I'll remember that Friday when we're down at our meeting.
Don't
I'll get
worry.
you to smile.
I'll remember that for sure.
Aggression, weed control.
I don't know, there's something different.
Yeah,
Well,
Carter,
we can
Josh,
table this, we'll have Terry send the web or the Wright County copy, and you can look at it and just to move this thing along.
And then we can
yeah,
meet
I
again.
think that'd be good. And I don't know if Josh or Carter or Howard have any other further thoughts for now, but I think that'd be a good starting point, Bruce, for sure.
All right.
Right, yeah, we'll send it up, you look it over, and if you're all in favor of it, sign it and send it to us, and then we'll approve it on our end.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, thank you very much.
Yep.
Thanks,
Perfect.
guys.
Thanks, guys. Anything else you got for us?
No,
Nope.
no, I don't believe so.
Okay, well, don't have too much fun without us.
Bye, Kyle.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Okay. Oh, good, right at 9 o'clock, for our public hearing for DD 11. Okay, we have to,
I'll make the motion to open for a public hearing for DD 11.
okay, we have a first and a second to open a public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Public hearing is open for DD 11 clean out. On sections 21, 2, and 3, is it? Yes.
You remember Travis, but section.
Yeah, 21, 22, 23 is what's on the reduce.
We have the plumber working, so there,
I made
it's
the
not anybody knocking the box.
I made
Yeah, it is.
Good rainy day job.
Yeah,
All right, so from what I understand, DD 11 has been cleaned, the upper end and the lower end. Most of the middle, there's about a 2 miles or mile and a half, what is it, about 2 miles?
yeah, it's right at about 2 miles.
It's about a 2 mile stretch there in the middle that hasn't been dipped.
Yes, since, I think it was 2012, I wanna say, that we kind of started going up there here and there, and picking out parts of it. So, yeah, a lot of the lower end and all the branches
Have
have
been done.
been done, you know, and then last fall, that upper, you know, mile and a half or. Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, there's about exactly 2 miles kind of in the center, but
South,
we haven't. Yeah,
south end got cleaned in 2012 and the north end, of course, 2024. And then that chunk in between that is yet to be cleaned. This is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the hearing is a time for the landowners to speak their piece, I guess, yay, nay. What's your thoughts?
Do it. It's beyond needing it.
I mean, I've been out and looked at it with Mike. I'm not gonna argue with you. Anybody else got any thoughts on that?
that we clean, don't get the bottom half that's and clean, and the middle half is, I mean, it's kind of like, it's holding back the top half, so we're kind of in the middle of things.
Just another point on that ditch, there's 2 old bridges and they are restricting the flow. Almost still being used.
Are these private bridges?
Yeah, probably, yeah. I got down to the very top. Underneath the bridge, you just can't do full width without taking the bridge off.
Oh, I see.
So I get the bucket as far as I can under the bridge and basically got a bucket width path cut through the pile under the bridge. And
I just brought it up because I didn't know if there'd be more than 20 across.
They landowner here.
Where the bridge is over.
Right.
I didn't know that.
They're on the upper end of the,
They're kind of in the.
quarter of a mile down.
Or longer. Amateurs is probably using for
I'm not being, I'm just, it's big.
I mean, they're made out of big steel ivy.
Low flow water, it's getting through fine. It's just in high flow, it's gonna get choked down.
But the side, go on the side.
This is the one where they are choked down from the Calvish tile. This is the one that- this is the one, man, there's an old river bridge to the line over part of it. Thank you. It holds it up there.
We have that covered.
That's been an updated one there that can't handle the years.
Okay.
The north.
Which. Yeah, I mean, they're made out of big steel beams, so,
Oh, they're, yeah, steel beam bridge, yes.
yeah.
It's the bridge off the old Des Moines River, right?
Yes,
It's the way down, it says, Well, moved it up there and put it up there.
Oh.
That's awesome. You know, the boards on top, might be getting a little question of the beams themselves are big steel ones, so.
And I don't know if they had cement foundation or if they're just in the dirt.
Yeah.
It's just a choke point. I just.
Yeah.
Well, there had been a bunch of concrete footings that were on the wall and had slid down into the bottom. So I did end up getting those out. It took some doing with them. They're big.
And those are concrete footings. I mean, they're 3 by 3 foot, like 10 foot long. I mean,
They're signing.
I don't know if you want to bury them, haul them away. Leave them lay there, but they were down in the ditch choking it up. A little bit worse than a
Put in
beaver.
there for erosion control or something.
Yes.
Not in that spot. They're disappeared for somebody. They're on top right now.
Do you have a question?
Well, I had called Friday to ask, and I'm in Humboldt Township. And I know where you're speaking, and I saw most of the landowners was trying to figure out where this district all flows. on the map, so why am I in Humboldt Township on this?
Shauna did tell me that she talked to Jennifer and I was gonna check into it today because I was not here on Friday. So I'm gonna check into that and see.
That's the only question I had is, it's like,
Yeah,
you.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody knows where I live.
I do, and I question that too.
But it is Bloody Run, that comes through there eventually, John.
It does cross over 169 for a ways. If he's, 11 does, but it doesn't go that far
Make
east.
it to Livermore.
Yeah, don't make it that far east as far as I know.
On this, so I thought I would just pass
So,
Go ahead, Mike.
maybe the upper corner of my north.
So do you have the total cost on the project and how it's gonna be divided? And then. As far as how far east you go, I believe from that 52-inch tile that was put in about 11, it dumps in 23. I think it's been dredged up to there.
I think that's right. I think you told me that before. That big name, that.
Yes,
big tile.
Everything east of there's done, right?
yes, that's where we stopped. There was you know, I mean, this was over 10 years ago, but if I remember right, there's a big tile main that comes in. I think it's pretty. Okay. That's
10
where
years
they
ago,
had me
it
stop.
stopped 2015, so that could have been after I was in.
time flies.
It does.
I think because Hers drains into 11. It's a different drainage district, but that's why she's invited.
Oh, it's a sub of 11.
It's actually 20. Is it 28 right there? Yes, I guess so. Because it goes to 11. She's indirectly affected. Very.
So to your question, Mike, how is it gonna get divided up?
What's total cost? What's
Well-
been on that and what's it divided? Is it just?
They've given us a verbal estimate around 50 to 60. Thing is, at 50,000, you have to have a hearing. So we come in at 49.9, we would have been wasting our time here. If it comes in at 57, you need to have this hearing. So you inform. It'll be divided up according to the last reclassification that districts had. Which isn't probably that old, because. Yeah,
But
Is it time of maturity?
it's time and maturity.
The bottom here, been dipped on that part of the upgrade. There's a ton of pipe, we're finding clay tile line that runs to the ditch bank, no steel pipe, nothing. It just running down the bank. I think there's 4 of them, a lot of pipe rusted way back in the wall, which washes the wall out. That's just real expensive to try and fix those problems. It's,
Well, and that kind of swings the top cost of the whole job too, is to, you know, when we start it. Get guess at how many pipes there are, but we're just
Yeah,
putting a number on it.
we find out when we clean ditches, like they were saying, if you clean a ditch. And then, so his neighbor called me, I had to go out and look at something. The ditch was cleaned 4 years ago, and now he finally realized that his outlet's plugged, because when they cleaned it, there was no steel pipe on it, and they just cleaned it and then plugged up the clay, 6-inch clay that come out.
It drains into.
And these are these private outlets that
So they.
they need to be repaired, fixed. How do you keep track? How do you bill it? When we do a project like this, it's included in the project, because when he cleans out the ditch, he rips them out.
Part of the problem with this project was the last time it was done, they used a drag line,
Yeah,
and I don't think the guy knew how to.
it wasn't an accurate bottom.
our best friend is all that grass and sod on that ditch bank, and that's
Yeah.
what makes our equipment now so much better. We just touch the bottom.
You don't
And
touch
there's
the sidewalk.
We don't touch the side, and there's some drop offs. Now I don't like it. But when you got 4 foot of material, we got to cut that side to get the ditch, the bead back. Well, now there's no support on that bottom of that wall. And then if it's sand, I can't.
Then some days it sloughs off and then you have to come back and clean it up.
Well, that's what's really hurting along the road, it's sandy and it was kind of chopped up, there's found a lot of rocks in there.
The longer you wait, the more material, and then the more material, the higher up the wall you go, and then the weaker the wall is, so. I'm advocate for a quick, maybe every 30 years, just do a quick
Yeah,
clean out, fix the pipe.
take out a couple of feet and
2
not
feet.
not wait till you're 4 foot of silt in them.
If you wait till it's this bad and the pipes are rusted and the bank's giving away, now it's a lot more dirt, a lot more problems, but. I'm a farmer too, I don't like that drainage expense either, but you know, look at the last 20 years, how much pattern tiling's running? We are putting a whole lot more water through this system that's 120 years old than we used to. But it's.
Along with that, do you have a engineer's grade of what the bottom of that creek is? Is it a 1/10, is it 2/10, is it 3/10? From where it starts to where we're going to,
We have the old records,
yeah,
but do I know it off the top of my head? No.
no, but.
Chances are it's a 1/10 grade. That's what most of them would cut down.
We've done 120 miles of ditch. I've never seen one make it to a 10. There's 400s to 700s.
They're
really
flat.
There.
Yeah, I know.
But as far as elevation, and we've done a lot of ditches with engineers watching us, they tell us go to a hard bottom. And they don't care if we overcut, but don't undercut.
I think maybe some of the problems with the extra water. The bottom probably has to be wider than it is to get rid of the water, the grade it is.
The width of the ditch needs to be
Yes.
wider.
Unfortunately, that's just a reality.
Mhm.
Times have changed and there's more water, they said pattern tiled and everything, there's more water to get rid of. Somebody downstream don't like that neither. Just push the problem farther down the line.
Bruce?
I got a couple questions. My mom tree have to be down there for this also. And she was like Mike, she was wondering what the dollar amount of this one was. And the dollar amount of what the last one was, but he said. Or to take a vote either way. And then you said something about reclassifying, Rick.
No, we're going off of the last reclassification.
You brought that up, it's a good point. My question is to you, I believe you and Bob Rasmussen came out and looked at my 80 acres. And I said years and years that the water is not going that way. And did you see 3 washouts coming into me on that piece?
Yeah, I did.
So my water ain't going that way, it's going in a different direction. I would like to opt out on that tile district. Because I do not have no water going. Since 1956, when the Foundation bought that farm. There was a 2 8-inch tiles going up in there. Since then, we put a 12-inch tile going up in there, and then after that, we put a 15-inch. So it's well tiled going to the west, and we get no tile.
We can look at it.
Yep.
Sometimes, which is after I left you and thought about it, I stopped and wrote. Sometimes those things, it's a pothole is what you have there. Well, maybe the east bank of the lake is 6 inches lower than the west bank of your lake, and that's why they say you go that way. But yet the water from that hill comes down into your pothole. And the water from the west comes down into your pothole, and they're going by the elevations on both sides.
Has it ever washed out in there going?
Oh, hell no, it won't. But that's what they go by. So that might be the case, Bruce, I don't know.
The last time this tile project was put in, the big county tile put in there, you guys omitted part of it because.
Because your tile went the other way.
It was a
Yeah, but it's
reduced
not.
amount. You
Yeah.
can't get out once you're in.
Right, but they went from 40,000 down to 20,000, I believe, on that project. And that's admitting that my water don't go that way, so that's why you.
Well, it's an acknowledging that your tiles go to the west. That's what they acknowledge. Not that it's the LiDAR.
And Bruce, I said, let's go for 100%. Ruth Davis at that time says, no, we gotta reduce, let's just leave it alone. He was happy, he got the 20,000 back done. And I said, that is not right. So that's why I figured they asked.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else?
How much material are you leaving under those two small bridges that are?
It's mainly the sides, you know, where we normally cut the V, it's the wall, if you will, under the bridge is pretty straight up and down, it's just the shape of my bucket. 'Cause
Probably 5, 6 foot at the bottom, but it goes straight up,
Straight up.
because we can't get under the bridge to make the V. It's instead of a V, it's a U.
It's basically the material kind of in that triangle, if you were.
So
to go
are
straight
they
up from the
wooden,
toe.
is there wooden posts under this bridge or is it just? the
No,
fact
they
that-
got steel I-beams going bank to bank.
Oh, so the sides are, if we could get it dredged out somehow, then it's possible to open it up, but it's.
Yeah, I just don't know how you're gonna do it without taking the bridge off
Oh,
this,
I
you
don't
know,
like
you'd
that.
have to almost destroy what's there to get.
If it dried up, we might be able to lower a skid loader in there
And dig it out.
and dig it
Yeah,
out.
but that ditch won't dry out.
I don't see it drying up anytime soon.
That drains a lot of
There's a
water.
lot of water.
It'd be a lot of shovel work, but in low water, it's gonna take max. It's just, as the ditch comes up, then it's gonna be throttled down. And there's two of them within 30 rod of each other.
Oh, they're that close together.
Yeah, so bang, bang. So if they take one out, it really ain't gonna do any good if the other guy wants his to stay.
You know, unless the water gets high enough and fast enough that it cuts it out.
Water might
It,
trim it.
it's possible. Kind of hard to say, but I'd love to be able just to pull it out of there.
If they ain't being used, let's take them out. The
Yeah.
ditch is gonna be better and safer, and more efficient, but if they're being used, I understand you got land on both sides and
We gotta have access.
you
to
gotta have
water.
access. Yeah.
Water's only really high for me.
But June's coming,
Yeah.
that'll clean her out, get a 5-inch rain.
Well, we just got our quota for the spring, I think, it's about 12 minutes worth of rain and now the sun's back out.
See, I told you I brought my raincoat.
Any other comments?
Well, we appreciate the work, and any guys got a problem what we're doing, we live here, pay taxes here, work here, come see us. I mean, we want you to be happy, and this ain't our last job, we don't advertise, our only work is done for the counties. But we just soon work at Humboldt County, that's where we live, and we want you guys to be happy, and I know too, stuff is expensive. But not having that drainage work, that's expensive too.
Well, the thing is, if we don't clean this section, the top end's gonna set in a little faster.
The guys who paid for the top end, they're thrilled because they're not gonna get the gain.
Right.
And it's what, 2 miles, that's. Not nothing, but it's gonna make the whole ditch work better.
Yeah.
How much roughly was this top end?
I don't know that number off the top of my head.
Well, we're still working on some of the outlet pipe. We're not quite done with those yet.
That, and honestly, that's
Close.
driving up the cost, all the dang pipe work.
Yeah, that's a real unknown, you know. Cause the digging work, you know, I wanna say we ended up pretty close per foot on what we were guessing last fall, but yeah, the pipe is. It's just impossible to say until I drove by 3 of them, I think, the other day that looked like they were fine last fall. And nobody, no water was running in it. And now you can watch it running out of the bank under, so. Like there was 3 that I thought were fine, and turns out they're taking dirt out of the bank.
Was it under the 50,000 or over the 50,000?
No, this one, I think the bill we submitted last fall was somewhere in the 50s. And that included some of the pipe fixing, whatever I got done when the ground froze.
And was there any preliminary meetings on that one?
No. And that's where we've been informed that if you think it's close, you better be having a hearing, cause. Variables,
So what happens if it runs over that?
what do? We paid it back. Yeah. I mean, we trust our contractors not to be overcharging us. So we've changed our policy that if we think it's gonna get close to 50, we're gonna have a hearing.
But you saying we, the supervisor, pay for it? Or
No,
the
no,
farmers pay
we, the farmers.
for it? I thought that's why I would ask the question.
Yes, when
Why-
I say
why
we,
are we-
I'm referring to us as trustees.
That's why I was wondering why.
And I'll be honest with you, Bruce, years ago. The limit was 50,000, anything over 50,000, you had to have a bid, public bid for it. Well, unfortunately, we get contractors that weren't very darn good at it. And you had to take the lowest bid if they were a reputable person. And we had one outfit out of South Dakota. And they come here, and I got a call from the farmers the first day they showed up, they're out there digging with a claw bucket. And the bottom was 16 inches up and down, the guy was, and had no clue what he was doing. But you had to take public bid.
Just for reference, we do a lot of bid jobs too. We make more money on the bid
They
job
do,
than by the hour.
because they gotta cover their butt.
You gotta have bonding, you gotta over bid it, because you don't know what the unexpected stuff is. It's just like I was saying on the pipe. We had one engineer in Wright County, he said, we expect you to find 100 pipe per mile. I said, 100 pipe, never had that many pipe, but that's what we had to bid for. And
So
then we end up
you got a
finding
darn
maybe
expensive
30 or
job.
40. But yeah, you can go back to the bid, but from my side, it's more expensive,
But the bidding process has changed, it got tied to the DOT. So it is now close to 200,000 before we have to do a bid. But the part we weren't aware of is you still have to have a hearing if it's over 50,000. So there was a couple projects that got done where that did happen, we didn't have a hearing, I'll admit to it, we didn't have a hearing. Because we didn't know that they didn't follow each other. The hearing part stayed at 50, the bidding went up.
And that's why I called down the other day and asked them what my share was, and said they didn't have price in it. I said, I wasn't even notified this morning. I said, what happens then? He said, well, the supervisors pay. Well, he says.
No, the supervisors
What
don't
kind of money they spend, it's the farmer's money to spend, ain't the supervisor.
We approve it, I should change the term, we approve it.
You know, that's what I'm, because my mom was one on this and brought it up.
Yeah, man, I wanna be totally open with him and honest, cause that's what we were made aware of, that the hearing process did not follow the bid process. They were separated, where they used to be together. So. Any more discussion on this?
and we can shave off the price. I mean, if you wanna level the dirt or pick up the rocks, I'm doing that right now. It's yours, it's your dirt, your rocks, but we like it to be nice, and the scrap steel we haul away. The rocks we haul away, I don't like buried rocks, someone else runs into them in the future.
Well, and really, that's pretty minimal, you know, at working.
On a mile of ditch, that might be $3,000-4,000. It's not,
No, it's not an atrocious.
it's once we get into the ditch and then we find all the pipe, you know. One pipe's $2,500, $3,000, and it's like, there's a lot of them. But if you don't fix them, then they're taking the bank out.
Well, and last fall, you know, I think maybe the reason you guys didn't even do a hearing was the original area we were gonna dig, I guessed somewhere in the 40,000s, I think. But then we found out there's all that silt in that box culvert where we had started to clean. So I had to go another half a mile or so downstream and start cleaning there to empty the box. So we could, you know, start with a clean box culvert at the, so that's part of what, but. You know, that part of the ditch now obviously doesn't need to be cleaned with this current project. So it's kind of both run together, but that might have been part of it last fall too, was we had to do, you know, another 50% more lengthwise than we were thinking at the start, when, you know, when I kind of guessed at what it was gonna cost.
And it tells the story when the box culvert's got 2 foot of water standing with the bottom slate of grade.
That culvert was not great.
And that brings up another point, as far as elevations, you know, you can go back to what it was then. Our elevation is whatever they put the box culvert in at the road.
Right.
Cause it won't do us no good to have the ditch up here and the box culvert down here. And I've talked to contractors and years when those get put in, they're 6 inches to a foot lower. Well, then the next time we clean the ditch, so is the ditch. We just want it to be, when it's level, then the water flushes that.
Flushes
thing
it
clean,
out.
And then it don't build up, or become a choke point, but
How wide the bottom you put on?
wherever the V takes us, and then we find our bottom.
Yeah, I mean,
Hit clay or, it's like that's.
you know, with the bid jobs, they'd always put in a specific width bottom.
Right.
But then when you're out there digging it and you talk with the engineers, you know, they'll tell me, well, this section here is gonna be like 20 feet wide. And they say, well, don't leave any silt, you know, cut it 20 feet. So I cut the sides to your 2-to-1 slope. And get the bottom as wide as we can be, you know, without getting too straight up and down with the wall. But I mean, the truth is your bottom comes in and goes out, it varies. So really it's the wall, we're just trying to get your slope what it should be. And then when we get to the bottom, come across, and I try to get it as wide as we can, so you get all the capacity back that we can.
And if we overcut, it's gonna show back here. That's, you know, we're just getting you another 10 years before the next time, but. The biggest thing is when you bring that bucket across, don't undercut the hole. Cause then that's just.
Yeah, then it slides down.
Just keep that bead and it'll have. But it's just, that's what we do with, got a little practice at it, not that we're the best. We want you guys to be happy. I mean, we live here, we farm too. I get the same notes from my landlords. It's tough to swallow, but I am telling you, my experience is like, don't wait 80 years to clean them out. Then you got that big, huge bill. Just do it more routine. I'd like to see the county do a priority list where the ditches we clean, there's some out there I know ain't seen nothing in 80 years. Well, without even looking, they're gonna need something.
Yeah.
But you keep waiting, it'll just cost you more. But no, I'm on the same side of the fence with you. I got them same notes and. But.
Okay,
Any other comments? If not, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing. At
I'll second.
27.
Okay, we have a first and a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The public hearing is closed at 9:27. All right, now there's discussion of possible action on DD 11 of the ditch cleanup. So if you're seeing that, feeling this needs to be done, we'll have a motion to proceed.
Definitely needs to be done.
Mhm.
Make a motion to proceed.
I'll second it.
We have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
So Rick, I have one question, and this is what Travis gave us. So when he starts, will he start at the top and go down, or will he
Start at the bottom and go up.
west and work west?
Yeah, they work upstream.
That's what I wondered.
When they can, they like to work upstream.
Okay, so
Yeah. All righty. Is
we
anything
still
else?
in, anything in drainage?
That's what I was gonna ask. Is there any other questions on drainage? I think topics you wanna bring up?
Matt, you got anything in drainage you wanna talk about?
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanna speak, you can, but we can't have any discussion because we don't have it on.
That's fine, I can do something important.
Okay,
Yeah, I had these guys out, Rick and Bob, we looked at a house project, I proposed it into P19, there's 2,500 feet of 15-inch tile, and 5 contractors said they wanted to put in 15, so we're going to smaller than that. And, we're gonna bring it up to the road, P19, we're gonna stop there, town put the boring underneath the road, because I'm gonna continue to get it on the other side. And Mark Kelmer, I talked to him this morning, he might be the one that puts it in, but I'm not sure yet. Cause one guy hasn't got back with us on a bid on it, dragging us through a little bit. But, he thought in October, he would put it, so I was supposed to come down and notify you guys. At least 4 months ahead of time, we're gonna do the project. And we would hope that you guys would get your boring done underneath the road, or when we get the time. We don't expect you to do it till the time is there. And we'd like to see it continue to go across the river. And, where we looked, and I started off this morning, culvert by that intake, 100 feet north of it. And that's part of the problem. I want a bigger intake on the east side of the road so we get rid of the surface water. The water sits there. Last year it sat there 10 different times for 5 different days long. You don't drain worth a dang. We're trying to save the road bed. We're trying to save some headaches down the road. Well, that's why we want to put this cow project in. We're not proposing anything at this time yet for you guys to participate. It's a private valve, not in any district, Rick. Goes underneath the whole different rules and regulations that that book says there. So I was told to come down. And Rick told me that I gotta have a piece of paper telling where and how deep. I will give it to you over here this morning. It'll be on my piece of paper and I'll tack a dollar bill to it.
Okay, so you'll have all that information.
You'll have the depth of tile going, 6 foot depth. And it's gonna be
Do we have
10 feet south of the intake that you guys worked on, so you know that location, because the intake that you stole from me 5 years ago. So Ben knows where that intake is. So yes, it is marked. It is out there.
It needs an engineer.
And when we're gonna put it.
Well, we have a hub out there to go off of,
Hub?
a hub, so we have an elevation that we can shoot off of.
You got the 5 foot or 6 foot depth from the ditch, yes. You got it.
From the current ditch bottom.
Yes.
Oh, but he needs an engineer's report also with his
6 foot
application.
ditch bottom.
All right,
But
well,
do you have an engineer's report?
he doesn't need one. He doesn't need an engineer's report, but we do need to have all the information that is in
The level or the elevations and.
468, 600. You give us all that stuff and we can proceed with the pop, so it'll be ready when you're ready.
I'll give you a piece of paper today.
All right, if it has all that information on it, that'd be great.
Notify me otherwise.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Anything else? Do we have-
I'll make motion if
Go out
we're
of
done.
range?
There's one more thing I'd like to know on the Rutland dams, that's our drainage. I mean, if you guys, I was wondering what the board, you guys used to kind of control it with the conservation. Now I've asked several different ones there, okay, we're done with it, we're out of headaches with it. You're not, because you're still the head of the drainage in Humboldt County. And that's where all of our drainage ditches, or my drainage ditches go above that to get cleaned out. And that's why I thought, somebody said it was 20 years ago, I don't know how long, but you was on the board, wasn't it, right?
Not 20 years ago.
No, but when you put the gates in.
No, I wasn't.
You was, okay,
Yeah.
before you then, excuse me. But I came in here and we had a meeting, phone call with Corbin engineer on there, and he told the board at that time, he was on, wasn't you, Bruce? or-
No. I'm the old.
He's the old.
But it was recorded, whenever that gate was put in, she's looking the contract up over there for me this morning. Because I gave every board member a contract of the original dam when it was put in, and it came from Martin Brown's place, or his mother's lot box, and she was in the nursing home, I tell you how hard we have. And it says in there, the Rutland Dam's 100 foot, Martin Brown's pasture is 103 elevation, and it goes to open the gates, and then as it gets down, and close. We had the engineer, Paul Jake, at the time, put marks on there. Did you put the marks on Ben, or somebody else put marks on there? Murray Bridge. Every foot, they put marks on the Murray Bridge back there.
Like we ground them.
Yes, but they're not marked real well. But you did that work, right?
Yeah, the county did.
Yeah.
I mean, we ground GPS elevations every foot on the, sheet. The east case on us.
My question is, since they know about that, and you did it, could we get them you can't read the markings anymore. But 103 at that time was like 4 foot underneath the river channel. That's how much mud is in, and it wasn't 10 feet above in Martin Brown's pasture. The post is gone, it washed out and it got covered up. So that's why we put the mark on the Murray Bridge. That is not a real correct mark. If Rutland took it over, they should actually put a GPS site or something to mark it north in Martin Brown's pasture where it's supposed to be. But if any of you guys can tell me what site they go off, like everybody says the DNR regulates it. I called them to Bob twice that day, and twice this morning, haven't got back to that.
You're probably busy, obviously, like everybody else, but keep trying,
Yep, I will.
cause they will give you the exact answer that we don't know.
Right, but what, you know, the sites they're going off of to give a recommendation,
Go right, talk to Todd about it.
right? I will.
He'll know.
Right, I heard, they told me it was one in Humboldt. How can you regulate a dam by below the dam? You can't. Impossible. You gotta have a site gauge cut north of the dam, like it was made in the original contract in Martin Brown's pasture. And it was said, if they don't regulate it by the 103, that the dam will be taken out. I do not wanna see that by any means. I want the gates opened up. And I was wondering, what you guys are gonna do about it?
Where's this contract?
What?
Where's this contract you're talking about?
Your lady looking for it, cause the lady, Peggy, I think, before you,
Yeah.
I gave her a copy and she supposed to report that day.
So it should be filed in the recorder's office.
Yes,
Okay.
she's looking for it. I want a copy of it too. I got a copy. It's over in the bank box, but I can get it.
Okay. Alrighty.
Thank you. Mrs. Cran, right? Over here.
Yeah, Sean McLean.
She's the one that just talked to me before I walked in. She's like, I said there's no hurry, but I'd get copies and like to have you guys aware of that. 100 to 103.
Okay.
I was told that the gates were now, they did open them. They got the logs out, Jensen did, all but one big log. Then
That's
they
my
closed them.
understanding.
Now Sue told me to open them, I said, Sue, are they open now? No, I said, why? She couldn't give me an answer. Those things should be open 24/7 until that dirt gets out of it to 103.
It'll take 100 years for that dirt to get out of there.
I don't know how long. You know what? They built the Brushy Creek and they dam. They said it was gonna be 3.5 years before that got filled. It got filled in 5 months because of water cuts and washes.
Yeah.
So I think it,
Rainfall.
and they dredged that river to a half mile south of Bradgate when they dredged it years ago going north. They call it the Gilmore Bridge. They took it out since, but that was bedrock right there. So that dirt will wash down to that bedrock again if you leave it open long enough. How long that is, it might be 6 months. It might be 6 years. I have no idea, but Mother Nature built it and she'll put it right back to the same if there's no distraction. And right now, the dam is closed. There's 12 foot of mud in there as a distraction. Fort Dodge took their dam out and it's clean now. They don't have flood problems north of town. They used to. And this whole Bradgate's gonna come down here, the whole town of Bradgate, cause that dam is affecting Bradgate's town. And they're getting flooded out and they're pumping and they're paying money on all that water damage. So they're gonna have an interest in it too.
Alright, thanks, Bruce. Alright, we have a motion to go out and, did we have
Yep,
a motion?
I made it.
Bruce had it, I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are out of drainage at 9:38. Okay, moving on, Ben.
Do we have Ben in the house?
There is.
There is.
Morning, afternoon.
Application to work in the county's right of way with Midland Power. This is to bore underneath the roadway. This would be Onyx Place, west of Livermore. They, from what I understand, they sold the acreage and the new owners are looking at changing the way power comes into the acreage to underground.
Get rid of those headlines.
Which bond? Mike. Oh, Mike.
I assume everything's in order.
Everything's in order, and anytime we can get rid of an overhead line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always a plus.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Now we got, you wanna buy a sheep swim?
I would like to buy a sheets. Just one.
I was gonna say, how many do you want?
Yeah.
Did we get it for your own end? Who's
You can
who's
have-
sheeping again?
I just want. You've got a few?
Just one sheep?
Just one sheep's foot.
Little
You
sheep.
can have the other-
What do you do?
Huh?
What do they do?
Sorry.
They go back.
Eat a lot of grass.
No, I mean the shoot foot roller. Now I can't.
We got like.
When it goes and
It's,
makes,
it's for,
Background, make it harder,
it's for
like-
compaction.
Oh, okay.
So like when we do these smaller projects where we replace a small bridge
Yeah.
with a culvert and we're doing the work ourselves, we've got a plate compactor that we'll use on either side of the structure to bring it up. And then we can use this larger roller to drive back and forth over the top, back up to the road surface. We use them when we're cleaning ditch and pulling the material up onto the road, reclaiming.
Okay.
Do you have a picture of one? Cause she'll make more, better sense with a picture, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I got it. It rolls, it packs the dirt.
It's got bogies.
Yeah. Oh, it's got little knobs on
It's
it?
got
Yeah.
bogies on it. It's got steel knobs on it.
So we have a tandem right now that's pulled apart in pieces.
Oh,
Ours
I've
looks,
seen.
ours looks similar to this. The one that we're looking at purchasing is a larger, heavier single drum that you pull behind.
How wide?
6 foot, I believe. We've gone and we've looked at a couple of these in the past that are in the $7,000-8,000 range, and you're looking at spending another $5 just to get them up and running. We've got one that's local, that's available for sale for 10. We know it's in good shape. We've rented it. He approached me and asked if we were still interested in purchasing. I said, I am. I'll run it past the board. So when we get going on these types of ditch reclamation projects, usually everybody wants to go at the same time. You know, because
Conditions are.
well, it's the nature of
It's
the
the
beast.
weather,
I mean,
yeah.
we're all hauling rock at the same time, and then we're all wanting to edge rut at the same time, and then we're all fixing tile at the same time, and then when everything finally calms down, it's like, hey, let's clean ditch and reclaim some road. Everybody wants to do it at the same time, so I'm looking at adding one additional roller. Last year, I think it was kind of over by your place, we did a 1 mile stretch.
Yeah.
Where the roller broke down, we ended up having to rent a roller to be able to finish the job from mid-country, just the cost of renting. That was a drivable one. But just the cost of renting that was close to what we could have bought this for.
So how much are you thinking this?
10.
10?
And you pull it behind.
This would get pulled behind one of our mower tractors.
Oh, okay. All right.
so,
Alright.
so can you fill that with water to change
Yes.
the,
Yep.
Oh,
how heavy it is?
Yep, you can fill it with water. Add some antifreeze to it to keep it from freezing. Other counties have added 1-inch roadstone, sand. I mean, anything that's not gonna freeze basically is what you wanna add to the drum. If you're adding a liquid, obviously you wanna make sure that your drum's
And
watertight.
then we have a trailer you can.
We've got a trailer that we can load it onto and transport.
I know an engineer would be mad if you pull that down the road.
Yeah.
It's guessing, I didn't know if it's next week or coming for it.
No, we've got a trailer that we can load it on.
All right.
I just caught up. Sometimes I'm late to the party.
And like you said, with the one you rented last year, I'm just throwing this at the wall. We're still gonna do enough projects in the next couple of years to warrant spending 10 grand on.
Yeah, I mean, if we were looking at buying a drivable one, you're looking at 100.
But I'm just saying, we're saving them.
We're
money
saving-
doing
we're
our
saving
work,
money.
so we're gonna,
Yep.
so it makes sense to me, I guess.
Me too. Makes a lot of sense. If you rented one for that amount. Oh,
And I think
Yeah,
we spent like 6,500. I mean, I appreciate the fact that they're local and they've got the equipment that that we need to be able to complete a job. And we were in a bind because
Right.
we had a road tore up and wide open. So I mean, they could have charged us
Do it.
double that and we would have paid it just to try to get the
Did they
road
haul
back
it for
open.
you too?
We picked it up.
I mean, normally when they haul stuff, they went from $300 to $600 to deliver. it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
It's high.
Yeah.
I have read from them quite a bit.
And
Well,
it's available now, you can
It's
pick it up
available.
tomorrow morning
Yep,
and
I can pick it
we're
up.
sheep footing down the road.
Hop, skip and a sheep foot.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll make that motion to approve the purchase for the sheep foot roller.
I'll second it.
Okay, any more discussion on the herd of sheep? All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries for the sheep sweat. Good. Okay, now, final that, you're gonna stay here, we got put on this, I got a call from Cole Bockelman from the city of Humboldt. This technically has nothing to do with the supervisors, because this is controlled by the landfill commission. But Cole wanted to know if we're in support of having opening up the landfill for more tree burn. I said, just burn what's out there. And then, cause right now we have a 28E agreement with the city. I'm speaking as a landfill person here.
Okay.
We have a 28E agreement with Dakota City and with Humboldt to take trees to a pile that gets so big, and once it gets so big, they cannot add to it anymore until they burn it. Then they burn it, then they start the pile over again. Cole says they're taking down, and everyone knows all the dead ash trees are by the hundreds, way more than what is your normal, right, tree removal business. He was wondering if the county is in favor of expanding the burning out there. Now that the DNR is no longer in control of the land outside of the actual landfill, because we've surveyed it off, fenced it off, gated the actual landfill portion. Where the tree burn pile is not regulated by the DNR anymore. So it will be regulated by the landfill commission. And we're gonna have a meeting, and I just want to know if the board of supervisors is in support of increasing the amount of trees for private residents to bring out, contractors to bring out, city of Bode, city of Livermore, city of Renwick or Laverne,
I think the biggest problem you're gonna have with that
free for all.
is everybody's gonna bring the garbage out.
Yeah.
Oh, I can bring a freezer up and drop it
Yep.
off. That's the thing I'm worried about.
And then how do you monitor it?
Yeah.
Right. Well, how do you monitor? Okay, right now you've got, it can only be so big. Are we gonna say, okay, we're gonna double it, we're gonna triple, you know what I mean? If we just say, hey, there's no limit, you know what's gonna happen.
Mhm.
I mean, I think we have to have some kind of, but then is it burning? Do we burn it then according to if it's not too dry or if it's
You'll
too?
never get control over it, and it'll be a chaos mess, and it's gonna happen, people are gonna bring out garbage, it's gonna happen. There's no way to monitor it.
That was my first concerns is. Pretty soon you have tires, you're gonna have rocks, like you say, you're gonna have refrigerators.
Do you have one person, I mean, is there gates on it now, they're locked?
There's gates.
There's gates, but
Locked is-
currently they're not locked, but the landfill gates are locked,
Yes.
the actual landfill.
So do we need to do it by appointment then and have it locked
Exactly.
on it, have that thing and have it locked?
That'd be terrible, we've tried that in the past, and
I don't think you open it up to private citizens because
no,
of. the
maybe
threat-
the
concern of-
municipalities.
of
We do that with
garbage.
mulch up there and you can go up there and see all
Oh,
the brush that gets hauled in there and they have the opportunity to take it down to the old city shed
Yeah,
and dump trees or branches that are less than 4 inches.
And,
And they're too lazy, they dump them all out there.
Yeah,
and then if the cities hire a private contractor, it'll be through the city that they would be going out there through a private contractor.
yeah.
Who's responsible for burning? Right now it's home, but if you open it up to every community,
I know, who decides when and where to burn it?
Mhm.
Well, the part that scares me
Because who
is
does it now is the city of Humboldt burns it when it gets to the point that, oh, we can't take any more out there. So now we have to burn it because we're full.
Well, we started a fire today. And we have, like, last Thursday and Friday where we have 40-mile-an-hour winds and you burn that big a pile of wood. That thing's gonna smolder for days and all of a sudden we have 40-mile-an-hour winds. And we got a section of corn blowing north that blew, all of a sudden, who's responsible for, I don't have a clue.
They wanna dig a hole.
Yeah, that's another thing. They wanted to dig a hole and burn in a hole.
In the hole, but with that still would have the embers and the wind blew it.
By digging a hole, they want to use the dirt to
As a berm.
build a berm
To contain the
to
fire.
limit the amount of wind that the trees are
nice.
exposed to.
I see. And to create its own wind.
Crack thrown in that hole.
And then you know
If you
what,
limit it to just
Party.
Yeah.
How you gonna limit it if you're not, somebody don't monitor it?
I know, that's
You're
just
just
it.
on their honor system, they're gonna have their tires when you.
right now, it's only the city that can throw it.
yeah, the city of
The
Humboldt and
diameter
the
on
city of
on the
Dakota
creek
City.
they Take out, right?
I think they used
Like
to
60
be locked
inches,
up
whatever it is.
Yeah. I'm
and
not
they
sure if
have
it's tilted
keys to unlock
to
it. They're responsible for it.
Yeah, I would say if we're gonna do it, you lock
You
the
know.
key, only the city of Humboldt's in charge of it.
Yeah.
Go back to locking the gate.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, that's what I would recommend, cause otherwise it's. Especially if you.
We have to get rid of those trees somewhere.
We do,
Yes,
it's
yeah.
still for everybody, my gosh, I drove by our old acreage and it's like,
I think.
oh my
Where,
god.
where are they going right now?
gone.
Out here. To the landfill.
But I mean, some of them ash trees that they're cutting
Mhm.
down are bigger than
Mammoth.
their size
Some of
limitation.
the bigger logs, I think of some of these contractors take them,
Yeah.
you know, and they cut them up for firewood and they cut up, they just run through sawmills and.
Can you do that with the ash board? You can take them outside of I thought you were supposed to leave them within your county.
I think they did away with that.
Did
they-
Everybody's got.
Okay, so they did away
So
with
like
it.
Okoboji up there, that was the last county that didn't have them,
Mhm.
and now they
Now
got
they
them,
can
so everybody's
gotcha.
got it.
Okay, so that was just to contain it, and now it's uncontainable.
So I'm looking for
Direction.
direction when I have my landfill meeting, saying, oh yeah, the supervisors are all in favor of this. Or they're not, you know, so.
I don't think we wanna, I think it has to have some kind of, I mean, if. The companies who do the cutting, the tree companies, if they wanna get with Humboldt.
That's
And
my
work
thought, if the
with them,
contract
fine.
is through like the city of Laverne or
Yep.
Bode or Livermore, and those contractors wanna take them there. That would be through their city,
Yes.
cause that's the only benefit to those landfill commission is mayors.
Right,
So I'm gonna have the mayor of Humboldt, mayor of Dakota City, they're gonna be pushing hard for this. And whether these other communities care, I don't know.
yeah,
And I sit down there representing the county,
right.
so.
I don't like the idea of opening it up to anybody though, and just let it be, I mean,
Cause if we end up with 30 tires out there or something
Right.
like that, we're gonna have to dispose of it as we find in the ditch, right?
TVs, refrigerator, fridge,
Yeah.
all that stuff gonna show up.
TVs burn up pretty good though.
don't print that.
Don't print that.
Really good.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Just saying.
Why?
so do I get the consensus here that you're in favor of letting the cities control it, but not private residents?
Yes.
Right,
Yes, correct.
Okay,
yeah.
so I'll have my meeting with them and,
We need to make that a motion, this
No.
possible action.
so we have, I don't think we do because. We have no control,
Oh, there you go, we have no control.
no,
Is your building insured?
currently it is.
Okay.
But I'm hoping to really get it removed,
The insurance or the
the
building?
bill. The bill, that's another topic we're gonna have, I have a meeting is to put that up for sale or. To get it out of there, just so we don't have to insure this building that we don't use.
So the city will be responsible for any garbage, trash, all that stuff out there, they get, it's up to us on their plate.
Cause what they've done in the past, they burn it. till it's done, then they come up, scoop up the ashes and haul them to the landfill in Fort Dodge. The ashes and the debris, what's left, what didn't burn or whatever.
Mhm.
That's good.
That's how it's been done when the DNR monitored it.
I didn't.
And I think that's how it needs to be done going forward.
Yep.
They need to clean up the mess.
So in essence of the hole. The hole is not on the table?
I don't know.
Burn it?
We've never had a hole there. Problem with a hole is in wet years, it fills full of water and then it
Right.
doesn't burn with a darn in a hole.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
The hole's fine. Cause the reason, like when they bury a farm place, they dig a deep hole, crunch up stuff, throw it in the hole, burn it, cover it up.
Right,
The hole won't sit there for years
right.
and turn into a lake. Which it probably would out there if you dug a very deep hole.
Yeah, I don't like the whole idea.
Nope.
Cause even if you layered it with rock, it wouldn't matter, it'd still fill up, right?
Yeah, it'll still fill full of
Yeah.
water.
And how do you clean the ash out of a hole?
Right.
To haul it off.
It'll
Yeah.
just be a
It'll just,
mess.
It's an ash hole.
It's an ash hole.
Sorry, you loaded that one up.
If they wanted to pile dirt around the outside, make a berm, on 3 sides or something, I probably won't be opposed to that, but I don't want a hole. I don't think it's a
yeah,
good idea.
I would agree to, I don't think a hole would be a good idea.
For the time being, I'm guessing they're probably gonna keep enough trees if they're that many. It's probably gonna be fairly active burning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think the issue is. All right, we're maxed out. So now for probably about 4 weeks, we can't take trees until we get it burnt, let it burn down. Clean up the mess all the way, start a new pile. But
You can burn them ash trees the day you cut them.
you can't,
You can?
I have to,
Cause they're dead.
like I got 20
Oh, I didn't.
22 left out of 38, and I burned as fast as I did.
And they burn quick.
they do, they burn up pretty nice.
I thought ash was a hot wood.
What is with burning?
What I mean is it's a hardwood, so it burns. It takes a long time to burn. I thought hardwood takes a longer time to burn than softwood. We used to burn wood. We used to heat our old house out.
All right, well, that's good information, I guess, for me. I think that's all I need to know
I think there's about 600 trees you can come down in Humboldt.
in the city.
In the city.
I wouldn't doubt it. I know Livermore's hired, I think, somebody to take down a big number of trees up there.
Like I said, Rutland approached us. To see if
They're
they
good.
could bring
We've been taking
to
them
the
out there.
same location.
Maybe.
Oh, they wanted to bring their trees there.
Yep.
Back a couple years ago.
Out of the river, when they put them on the river, right? So
No, the ash trees.
From they cut down in town.
All the way.
That they'll be
Ones
cut
that pulled
down.
out of the river, that they got permission from that land person on the south side.
Okay.
To burn them over there.
well, there was a lot of them, and I never knew what to do with them, but
That was what I was told.
they're gonna be wet for a long time.
That's why he wanted them, try to get them out as early as they could so they could start drying out in order to burn them.
Well,
I would just try to get a figure, or try to figure out how often they would burn through the summer, because the closer you get to, especially if we're gonna have a dry summer,
That's what, yeah.
that's the.
we end up with a whole bunch of wood out there that we can't burn till winter. I mean, we're still limited by the amount of pile, right?
Yeah,
So if it gets dry, you can't take anymore. That's,
I mean, there's a fair amount of land out there that isn't being used for anything. But
How much wood do you wanna have sitting out there when you like, if you have a whole big pile, I mean, it's a lot of weenies to roast.
I started my ditch on fire yesterday, I called the fire department.
Did you?
See?
Yeah. It was just
I
quiet,
was-
it was just. What?
I was gonna light last night and I'm glad I did.
It was just corn stalks, cause all them corn stalks.
Blowed
blew
into a
my head,
fence
and
or
it was-
something.
Yeah.
I was mowing, I was, so, I'm like, well, I'll just
It'll start small
Yeah,
on fire.
yeah, well, then the whole problem is the wind, it shifted and it started. I blew most of the corn stalks out to his field with my mower, so then it shifted out to the field, I'm like, oh shit. So
Yeah,
I'm
the
trying,
field's on fire.
yeah, now the field's on fire and I'm trying to put it out with the shovel, I'm ready to have a heart attack. So I called Josh, said, bring the fire truck out, so they brought the fire truck out.
I was gonna say Connie didn't,
What?
Connie was probably sitting here going, "Hmm."
No, she was gone, thank God.
Okay, all right, we'll do committee reports.
All right. Monday on the 12th, I drove out after Mike and I guess, drove out to Corinth just to look. And then I called, Doug and visited with him a minute out there. They're still trying to wrap up some other projects, so he didn't, they haven't done anything with that box out there. Tuesday morning, I got a hold of, or called Midland Power. Mike had called and visited with, Hornbelt. They aren't able to do that, so I called Midland and they brought one of their basket trucks and two guys down and back down to the yard out here and put it up in a couple of minutes there. Mike posted a picture, took a couple of pictures. But we appreciate very much their ability to do that for us, because we didn't know how we were gonna shimmy up there and get it done, but. And then on Friday at 3:45 or whenever she showed up, Miss Bird. Brenna. Came up here and listened to. It's good, I mean, I think she was asking for the people that were here, when we end up with a dozen. They weren't having any issues if a couple of them had sent emails,
Talked a lot about cyber, not cyber, scams, telephone scams, email scams. Why can't they do anything about it? You know, why can't?
She did tell us that, you know, you think of the people that are scammed are not the elderly that, you know, somebody calls and says, I need money to get somebody out of jail or whatever, shit, they dropped the age.
Yeah, they're down, the age threshold's down in the 50s now, they're going up better and smarter scams.
So,
Yeah.
kind of made us all think about it, but
We were down at Michael's and one of his friends, well, Michael's 40. And he said that, they got one of those toll bridge, and his friend goes on toll bridges all the time, so he did it. What they do is they take $1 or $2 the first few times, and then they took 800, cleaned them out. With account.
Yeah, they only want $2.95. And then they come back and clean out your account later.
Yeah, yeah. So he's in his 40s.
then she talked quite a while on the crypto, which is way over.
Yeah, cryptocurrency stuff, that was above me, because I don't play in crypto.
But there are a lot of people that do, and she just said that
That's another scam.
it's another thing to be careful of, and then the last topic was her announcement of anything, and
Is she running?
she
She wouldn't say,
She wouldn't say.
yeah, I was just curious. She danced around. it pretty good.
She's doing her out to see what the public is thinking. That's what she's doing. She's public. She's just seeing what the public thinks of her.
Randy Beast announced this morning. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he announced
Right.
last week sometime. Yeah,
that's all I did.
I didn't have anything, but I sure got a lot of phone calls last week, just on different stuff.
okay.
I'm done. I had nothing.
Wednesday, I went to, Chris and I went to Sac City to pick up the desk. Those are sitting on the trailer. I don't know when we're gonna bring them in, I haven't heard anything, so. And then I had the Moffett meeting.
What was that?
How was it? One of the girls I'm not sure which one is she is not working anymore. They're gonna change their policy. They do not interview or screening. Because they don't screening.
They're volunteers.
Their background, they're checking their background. So yeah, there's a few issues there they're trying to get figured
That's
out.
probably a good idea.
Yeah.
A lot of cats, a lot of dogs.
They get rid of it and replace them. I usually try, I'm always interested, they got rid of 19 and.
Yeah, they haven't got any in for a while, but they're full yet.
Oh,
Everything's full,
Yep.
so,
Well, it's kitten season.
yeah, there's
It
a
is.
lot of kittens in there. And then Friday I was with Rick at Bruce Hefty's place.
Okay.
That's it.
Monday after the meeting, went with Bruce out to Diaries Tile Repair. We called, Marcel and I got the initial pictures and he's got current pictures of it and everything. They'll get there sooner or later. I still don't know how they're gonna get that box out there, but they'll figure it out. Come to the
That
courthouse.
cement thing?
Mhm.
That cement thing?
Cement box.
Hmm.
Went to the courthouse to help get the rope put in the flagpole. Went to DD 125, work order 25-027 between Colorado and Birch on 210.
When was
Took
that?
pics. Pardon me?
When was that?
That was Tuesday. Some of the holes were on the main, some of them weren't. I whispered, I'm sorry. Went to the courthouse on Thursday, come in to see the repairs on the drainage system, sewer system. Rick was here and we lowered the flagpole because it was law enforcement officers' day.
For
Memorial.
memorial past
Yes,
officers who were
Yeah.
killed in the line of duty or
Yeah.
on duty or something.
I just put it back on top
It's
today.
kind of a respect thing.
I went up and run it back onto the top today.
Okay.
Then we come to Brenna Bird's, visit here, Denny Bory, out of Norway, section 8, north of 240th Street between Texas and Utah. Sub 3 of DD 6 went over and he's got beans already planted and I really didn't want to drive across the field, so. But it looked like his cut, he had a backhoe there and side by side, looked like there was a path out to it, but I thought, no. I didn't get much done, just took a picture of the situation, that's about it.
That's north of Thor.
Mhm.
And then which side of the road, east or west? East side,
The north side, it's north of, north of 240th Street, east or south. This is one.
I'm trying to think, because then we put a new main in there years ago, a few years back when we left. Well, I've learned a lesson, never leave that old main, it just comes back and haunts you.
Well, they run parallel and then they cross each other, it's just.
Yeah, you know, the farmers always, don't leave that old main, it's still good, don't let them talk you into that, get rid of them, brush them. They just, and that's probably what that hole is for, is in the old, they're still using that old main.
Yep.
Alright. Okay, Monday, I met with Dave Minicus out at the landfill. We still have to do a biannual walk around for the DNR. We'll have to do that forever, but there's no testing, it's just more visuals, takes pictures, fills out a report, sends it in. So I did that. Wednesday, I was in here with Jim Groenback. When we started the opening up the wall. Come in on Thursday, the plumber was here on Thursday. And had a little discussion with him that, yes, we are gonna get these pipes out today, so I helped him in the afternoon get the pipes out. Cause he wasn't gonna do them. And then Friday I come back in and checked on him, and I went out and met with Bruce Hefty. With Bob. On Friday morning, and then I came in on Friday afternoon for Brenda Bird. But I think the plumber's upstairs making the final connections for the toilet.
So it's all gonna be all, is it like plastic then?
Yes, it's all PVC from the basement up to where it turns into a vent pipe and goes up through the roof.
Did you
That's
actually, did
good.
you see the pipe when they had, when they had it open?
Mhm.
And it cracked.
Vertical crack.
Yeah.
6,
all the way down.
6, 8 feet.
Serious,
Yeah,
all the way down? How,
I am
You
either.
think that was from freezing?
how can it
That's why I
freeze
could
though?
think
How could-
It's against the wall, the brick wall. but-
Yeah, I don't think it could have been freezing, cause our
Steam pipe.
our other pipes would have frozen.
Yeah, they would have too.
Cause they're in there too, and,
When you go against
but
manufacturers.
I asked the plumber, have you ever seen this before? He says, yeah, I seen it one
Before
other
you
time.
think it's still alive?
He says, I do believe him, he says it's probably faulty pipe that was put in when they made it.
Yeah.
Because there was a 4-foot section that was split, a 2-foot section that was good, and a 4-foot section above it that was split.
Warranty would have been, I'm telling you.
Go back on the
Yeah,
original.
go right back on that, guys.
Yeah. Big enough.
Probably on the grave somewhere.
Years ago.
So that's, Jim's got his guy in here taping it shut, it's all putting the finishing coats on, they just.
Awesome,
So they're back to work in there now, and
very good.
things are gonna go good, and we're gonna have that taken care of.
And we'll probably eventually have to be doing that with all of it. That's correct. You know more probably.
Well, hopefully they're okay, hopefully it was just a bad couple of pipe there, hopefully they're in any other
Cross
spots,
our fingers.
yeah. Mhm.
There's I give them a reminder, Thursday at 5 o'clock, the flags go up out here,
Over Memorial.
so. Hopefully we can get the yard mowed when
Oh, I did,
off the,
I did talk to Todd, he said they'll keep an eye on it,
Oh, the conservation,
Yeah.
gonna keep it mowed up?
Yeah.
Okay.
he'll take.
but we
care
get that, cause the kids will come in, I have to get a hold of coach and they'll be in here at 5 and hopefully.
of it. That's Thursday at 5.
Yep, and then they take them down, if the weather's dry, Tuesday at 5. If it rains, like Tuesday sometime, they don't wanna fold those flags up.
They're wet.
When they're wet, so they'll let them fly a couple days to get them dried out. and so. Thursday at 5, down Tuesday at 5, so we appreciate the
Kids help.
young kids, and
Yeah.
I guess I'd throw out a congratulations to all the graduates, and
Yeah.
been a busy couple of weeks for,
And someone like to stay
Graduation
around
round.
Humboldt County and work here, we're glad to have them.
Yeah, hope they stay.
One other thing, on our janitor position. Gentleman that we have chose has passed all the tests, all the screenings. So his, checked out his references, they were all good. So, and he has submitted his 2-week resignation where he's at, so I think the date he's gonna be available is a week from Wednesday. A week from this Wednesday,
Good,
Very good.
awesome.
so
Pretty.
I think. He's been up here at the courthouse, I think, and. Talked to the gals, they gave him the information he needs to have.
Okay, good.
all right. Nothing
That's
else,
awesome.
I'll look for a motion for.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn at 10:13.
Wow. Went over and looked at